Hello, I'm Karen and thank you for joining me in part 2 of how to make my little dude. In this video we're going to be adding the arms and legs, and this is just a body part that I actually use for a pincushion. For those that would like to know how to make my pincushion, please go and see part 1. And I'm using a number 4mm hook and just some random yarn from my stash. It doesn't matter what yarn you actually use. I'm just going to sit my dude there. It's not, it's falling over. Okay, and for this one what we need to do now is we need to do the magic loop and we need to cast on. I'm leaving long tails still because we do still need to do some sewing in. So to add the legs, when we look at our work you can see the centerpiece, and so that's the first round, and then this one is the second round. So at some point where you find it's comfortable, just go and cast on with a slip stitch. That's all you need to do there. Pull that nice and tight, and we're going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Into the second stitch from the hook, 1, 2, we're going to do, what we're going to do? We're going to do 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And into the first single crochet we're going to single crochet another round, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we're just going to slip stitch into the beginning single crochet to join and to cut off, leaving a nice tail. Pull this yarn through and there you have one little foot. We're just going to get my needle and I'm going to sew in just at the bottom of the foot. This is just to help it, because otherwise we're going to have lots and lots of tails and it gets just a bit fiddly because there's just so many strands of yarn dangling down. And for this, all I'm going to do is just weave my yarn in and out. Oops. Just so that oopsie daisy, I've got stuck. Just so that we're closing up the bottom of the foot and tidying away the yarn. To be fair, this bit of yarn here tends not to come out, so that's lucky. There we go, look, so there we have our first little foot, and I'm just going to put that out of the way. I'll get my yarn again, do my magic loop. Now what I want to do is I want to try and make sure that this new leg is opposite the first leg, so we're going to go into about here, should be equally balanced. I haven't counted stitches to work this out, I just literally go by eye, and then I'm going to chain 12 again, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Into the second chain from the hook we're going to do 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then working into the first single crochet that we did, we're going to do another round of single crochet, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're just going to slip stitch to finish. Pull that through there, get my needle and thread the needle, and the same again, we're just going to come underneath there. I'm just going to do like the running stitch through, just to close up the bottom of the foot so we haven't got a hole in the bottom of the foot as well, and through there, and one more stitch there, and cut that off. Oops, it didn't cut properly. Okay, so now we've got our little legs. Which way round is he? There, because the little holes at the top are the tops of the, I'm sorry, I'm off camera there, at the tops of the shoes or the feet. And we're going to get the ends where we've actually cast on, and what, as you sew this and you pull it, it's going to hold it closer to the body. So we want to go in right next to it. There's a hole there, look where I've cast on. I'm just going to come up through the body, and this first stitch I can pull nice and tight so it's nice and secure next to the body. And then, just like in the other ones, what we're going to do is we're going to work over a stitch, and we're just going to gently pull it so that that stitch ends up being hidden, but we don't want to do it too tight because we don't want to distort the body. I'm just going to come through there. You can just randomly go through different places and just make sure that your stitch is nice and neat, and we want to follow the pattern of the stitches, so I'm going to go through there and come up over there, and that's that end, and then we're going to just cut that piece off, and then I'm going to get the other leg, sewing this tail in there. So I'm going to go, I want to pull this tight to the body, and we'll see where we actually cast on. If you pull it, you can actually see your hole better, so you can see the stitch. Go into that hole, careful not to tangle up your leg, it'll just come out through the body somewhere, and this stitch you can pull nice and tight so the legs go nice and tight to the body. And then we look for where our stitch work is going, and we're going to go over that stitch there, come out over here somewhere. When you come out the opposite side, if you haven't been watching the other video, I do recommend you do, so that you make sure you don't split your yarn as you're coming through it. Just, you want to keep your work looking nice. And I'm just going to do one more, pull that stitch so that that's hidden, and cut that off. I think I'm getting ready for a new pair of scissors. My scissors seem to be not cutting properly. Okay, so now I've got my little dude with his little legs. Ta-da! And I'm going to get my yarn again, and we're going to add the arms now. It's the same principle, only his arms are shorter than his legs. Now what I want you to do is you look where you've got your leg, and you come up, and you can see where you've been working at the top there, because his head's all nice and floppy. Just pick the round that is where you'd think the shoulder would be. If you have it really low down, you can have like low shoulders, or you can go a little bit higher up, and just come through your work and slip stitch that into place. Pull that bit tight there, and then chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Into the second stitch from the hook, we're just going to work 4 this time, single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning single crochet, and we're doing another round of single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Oops, I haven't done the fourth one, that's it. And then I'm just going to slip stitch into the next space, cut off my yarn, pull it through and get my needle. Just going to sew in the end of his hand, because this is more like a little ball for his hand. It's just that a little bit small. It just, well, like I said in my other video, my little dude just happened. I was crocheting. I do like to actually make some little toys and make some dolls. I just wanted something really, what I thought was quick and easy in comparison to making the other ones, but like I said, it actually does take about 40 minutes once you've got into it. If you're new at doing the amigurumi, is that how you pronounce it? Or, then it can be a little bit fiddly. And then I'm not going to tuck in the other tail just yet. I don't know why. I just like to do those afterwards. It's entirely up to you. You can make yours and sew in your ends however you want. So we're going to the same principle. Find the leg, go up. Remember which row you joined onto, so that it's going to look quite balanced. Slip stitch into place. Chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Into the second chain from the hook, we're going to do 4 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just going to come in to do a second round of single crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Sorry. And then we're just going to slip stitch to finish. Cut off the yarn, pull that through, get the needle. We're just going to sew in his little hand. Oh dear, that was not very good, was it? All the yarn's gone. It's gone crazy. Never mind, we're cutting that bit off anyway. So we're just going to come through a couple of times just to make sure that the yarn's all nice and tucked in and the holes sewn up, so he's got like a little ball for his hand. There. Cut that off. And now I just need to make sure that I'm going to sew his arms nicely into place. So let's have a look. Which way round is he? Let's look, where is his feet? Okay. Right, so we want this. You want to remember we did with the leg. You're looking for where you've actually cast on, and then you're going to come down, and this is the one stitch that you pull nice and tight so that it fits nice to the body, so it gives it that nice little shoulder slope. And then we're going to go over a stitch and then randomly pop out, making sure that we gently pull that so that that fits nice and matches the rest of our stitching and doesn't distort his shape. Now I'm going to go in there and come out there, and one more time through the body. There, and there we go. cut that piece off. And then we've got the other arm to do. So yeah, I think honestly there's more sewing in to this, but it's really worth it. I love making them, they're just so cute. I've had so much fun with these. Right, that's where we actually cast on, so I'm just going to come into there, come out the other side, making sure that I don't trap his arm with the tail that I'm pulling through. Pull that one through so that it fits nice and snug, and then that's it. Then we just do the gentle tucking in and coming out through the body, just to keep the tail end out of the way, and just to finish it all off and make sure it's all nice and secure. There, I've done that stitch there, and I'm just going to have one more stitch through there, like that. That looks nice. Which end? That bit. Okay, so if you're going to use this for a toy for your cat, then you can leave the tail, this end on, and then you can attach that to a little stick so that you can dangle your little dude around to torment and to play. Torment, that's a bit naughty, isn't it, really? But you know what I mean. It's sort of like you're teasing your cat and sort of enticing it to come and play. Or you can completely cut it off, so that you've actually got it completely cut off like that. And I'm going to sew in my end because I want these two dudes to be little friends. So I'm just going to tuck in this into the head, making sure that I still be careful, which is the tail, that bit. Still be careful that I follow on with this stitching and I don't pull it too tight, because it really does spoil it if you pull these stitching pieces too tight, and then it's disappointing. It really, really is. If you spent all that time making him and then you're like, oh, my stitching's ruined it. So that's why I'm saying it's, in one sense I would say it's really easy, but then in another I would say that you've got to be reasonably skilled to be able to give it the best finish that you can. I really do think I need some new scissors. So there we have it. We have two little dudes, and as you can see, these ones are very similar in size because I've used a similar sized thickness of, if it's the double knitting of my yarn. So I'm just going to make them into, like, you can have them so that they're playing a game, or ta-da! And if you haven't watched the other video, this is, you can't see him very well, I might have to make one in a different colour. This is this spider. The spider is made by making the dude's head, and then once you get to this, you use the centre row of your stitching, and you just do the arm pieces of the dude onto there. Make sure you do 8, because children know these things, you know. Spiders have 8 legs. Okay, they're great. These are great for Halloween things, and for storytelling, because you've got like Incy Wincy Spider. They're fun. They're not scary in any way. You can actually add the little googly eyes and things if you want to, but I find that adding things like that just makes it so that they're more dangerous for children to play with, and there's small pieces for your animals to be able to swallow. And this way round, everything's all tucked in, then they're not. These ones, look, they can link arms. You can say, it's like on my other one, it's like, what mood is your dude? So you can have them in a bad mood with the crossing of the arms. So we'll cross his arms. It's like, I'm in a bad mood, and he's sitting there with his bad mood, and you can do your storytelling. So it's like, he's in a bad mood, and so you can approach, say, oh, why are you in a bad mood? And then he can tell you why he's in a bad mood, and then you can make him feel happy, and then he's not in a bad mood anymore. You can make him happy. They say they're great for storytelling for children and for fun for your computer. You can sit there and play games with them and drop them randomly and see how they fall, and because they are actually quite like, do you know, I've watched, who is it on videos, is it PewDiePie? And he's got like these little games that he plays, and they're actually quite, the way that they tumble around, they're actually quite like those characters there. And I've also noticed as well that there's an artist who makes what he calls them the Stik men. They're actually the same shape as the Stik men, but I don't know how long he's been doing his artwork for, but I know that I made these, I think it was about 2009 when I wrote this pattern. So there you have it. I hope you like them. I hope that you actually do make them, because they really are just they're just so much fun. They just really are. Saying that you can have them sitting up by your computer, you can put them as stocking fillers inside your Christmas presents, you can send them to your friends for their little cats, or just whatever you like. It's entirely up to you. So you can have them as little friends. Oh, and you can actually make little hats and things for them. So maybe I should do another little video and show you how to make a hat for the dude. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and have some fun crocheting. Yay! Bye for now.